Hello, everybody. And now I want to show more on the developer front how we can integrate GPT-3 into the program and application. As I mentioned in my previous video, that for developers, the chat GPT is not yet open. In other words, right, those APIs are not yet open to integrate as of today. So now, right, I'm going to show you a few examples how we can try to integrate OpenAI GPT-3 APIs into our application, how we can try to leverage and get the value out of it. So let's get onto the Google where you can go and type OpenAI. Again, as usual, you need to click there and then there you can get onto the login. Since I already logged in, I quickly get onto that examples page to save our time since I already shown the demo. So now you can see all these capabilities. Now we are trying to assume that one, we are trying to do the summarization in our application. You can also use classification, you can also use for translation, whatnot. So let me show you a couple of examples how we can try to do that. So the beauty of about this GPT-3 is, typical, right, if you want to do the API integration, you need to go to read documentation, tons of pages of documentation, understand all the parameters and what's going to be return value and passing parameters and so forth. But on this GPT, they try to make it like for both consumer and also for developer with the same documentation. Let's say that I click here, summarize for second grader. You can see the API request. So you have various programming language. You can use Python or Node.js, Curl or JSON. It doesn't matter for me. I can use any one of them. So if I want to use, I'm having Insomnia editor, I can use for JSON object, or I can use the Python editor where I can use for Python code. So let's see, we can go and click the open and playground. So what you can do that one, right, where you can see all this by default, the message, you can see that one. And you click here, again, the view code, you can see with the sample data. So think about that one from the developer standpoint of view. This sample data is going to be replaced by the database variable or could be a parameter. So we can take the sample code and we can go and take it into our application and we can use it as such, except that one that we need to change all the parameters. So from the developer standpoint of view, one of the most important thing is API key. So what is that API key? The moment you log in, if you try to set up OpenAI with your account, so it's going to create a secret key. So I already got the key. So I'm going to show you the key which already got created. If I can go here, you can see the API keys. So let me kind of jump there. Since I already got the key already created, so I'm having the secret keys already stored. Otherwise, I can create a new key. So I'm not going to create a new key since it's already got created. In fact, I deleted today and I recreated one of them today, January 29th. So go back to that one where it was a playground. Okay, this is where we were before. So you can see that when the open API key, that's the most important thing. So that secret key is a one. Try to go and unlock open AI, and we can try to use all the libraries of the API. The APIs, we can use that one. So as I said that I'm going to show the demo on Python. So I can go to the terminal. So now I want to install the OpenAI, the library. So then that I can start using all the APIs, REST APIs from the OpenAI, right? So now I'm already installed. So it's called be pip3 install OpenAI. If you already have a Python, I'm already having a Python 3.11. So now I'm going to install OpenAI. So since I already installed, so I'm not going to get anything back. Otherwise, it's going to take a few seconds to install the OpenAI. Once this is done, now we are set ready. We got the API key. Now we got the OpenAI library got installed. So now I'm going to the editor. So I created a few things right here. So seems like a hello world type of program, but don't look at that one. The concept I want to show you is how to invoke APIs from the OpenAI GPT-3. As I mentioned earlier, ChatGPT is out of equation. We can't show anything here. So now import OpenAI, it's going to work because I already installed the OpenAI, isn't it? So now API key is there. I hard coded my API key. In reality, you can store this key in your database, encrypt it, however you want to do that one. Since this is a sample program, I just hard coded in my program. So now I'm unlocking it. Once done, this is going to be pretty much like a function. OpenAI.completion.create. I'm trying to pass all these models and parameters. These models, there are quite a few models out there. DaVinci, Ada, Babbage, Curie. I already mentioned everything in my blog. If you have not read my blog, you can go and read it out. So you can give the prompt. This is the one I'm trying to ask the question to OpenAI, the natural language query processing processor. I'm asking, hey, write a tagline for my AI company. Pretend like I'm having an AI company. I want to give a tagline. So I want to get a suggestion from AI. You remember previously we used to ask all the questions, trade our co-workers and other people try to get the tagline. Now we can try to ask the computer. So it's pretty cool, isn't it? So we can give all the temperature, max token, and so forth. Temperature is basically how often it's going to get the repeated the same information. You want to have generate, you want to generate every time new information, new content. You can try to change your temperature. Again, these things you can go and read from the documentation. You can understand about it. So again, I leave it everything with the default. So the more you leave it to the default, it's going to be more optimized. If you can go here, this is all the default number. Look at that one. When you click here, view code, you can try to give the same thing. If you're trying to use for summarization, try to uh, leave with these parameters. If you try to use classification, once you go there, where is the examples? Once you go here, classification, for example, try to use these default values. How do you know these default values? When you click here, view code, you can see all these default values. Try to temperature and other things. Look at that one. Temperature is 0, not the previous one. Right, was having a different number. Now this is 0. So anyway, so I hope you understand that one. How the parameters are playing a role. The parameters are trying to help the more optimized based on the question, based on the capability that we are trying to achieve and accomplish. Okay, so go back to that Visual Studio again. So now, right, the intent of this one is I'm trying to ask the question, getting a tagline for my AI company. So natural language query or OpenAI is going to suggest. I'm going to click the run. So now I got that one. Okay, this is my tagline. If I want to try something new again, okay, so clear it, and then you can try again. It's going to get a different name. So now you can see that when unlock the future with the AI solutions, whatever the company name. Again, you can try to click it. If I don't like it, you can keep trying as many times as you want, and you can try to get that different name, different tagline. So this is one example. So you can try to apply this use case for variety of purpose, not necessary for the tagline. We're asking the question, that question can return back the response automatically. If you want to use your own data, you can also train the model. That's called like a few shots training. By default, OpenAI, it's having a zero shot training. It means it's already trained from the raw text from the huge amount of internet data, Wikipedia data, and other sourcing data. If you want to if you want to train your own data, if your company is going to be pharmacy or it's a little bit more insurance, the terminologies are all different. You can train these models with your own data, and then you can try to ask the question. It will be the response back based on your capability that you're trying it for. So let me go for another example. I wrote it down. So this again, OpenAI, we had to give the API key. I set it up. So this particular one, I'm asking the prompt, hey, decide whether my message is positive or negative. I'm asking more sentimental analysis. Uh, I'm just asking, I love it. I love Python program. So now I'm going to call this API completion.create. I'm calling the model. I can change the model name. Again, DaVinci is going to be a powerful model compared to the rest of the models. So the temperature and other tokens have been set. And finally, I'm going to get the response. Let me clear this one. And I'm going to hit the button. Now you can see it's a positive. So then you can have a long text also, by the way. So I say I'm not good with Python program. If I say that one, I clear, You can see that one, the message, the tone is negative. Okay, I'm going to say I'm just okay with the Python program. So clear. So now I'm going to invoke the API. It's going to say neutral. So based on read our prompt, and it's going to respond it. In reality, we are going to do that one. You're going to pass information, reading from the database, passing the huge string to this API. It could be a multiple call, and you're going to get the sentiment analysis. In this example, it's pretty straightforward. Okay, this is going to be typical development for loop, calling from a database, making a query, getting into the variable, pass a string. Here the prompt is a string. The string is going to come from the data, is going to come to the database, and you try to get the sentiment analysis. It could be a social media data, it could be a database data, it could be anything. Customer comments and many different angles, right? We can try to get the sentiment analysis. We can try to do that. And then other example, I'm trying to show that translation. So I'm asking, how are you? I'm trying to ask the question in a translate the below text into in French and I put that one Tamil language. So let me clear this one. Usually the translation service is pretty slow, which I've seen it so far. So let me click that one. So it's going to run the translation service and it's going to respond back. So you can see that one in Tamil, right? One in French. This is a French, how are you? And then Tamil, right? It's going to come the decoded message. Since the fonts are not in Tamil, that's why it is there. But you can parse the data. Once you parse the data, once you have a Tamil font, you can see the Tamil font, the details. So again, this can be used for the websites, mobile marketing content, and conversational chatbot. The translation can be used for multi-purpose. So not necessarily you have to use only from the variables and all. You can also try to load it from the file, right? So you can see that one load data set from JSON file. You can try to have all the content in JSON. You can train the model, the fine tune the model with a few shots. And then if you prompt the question, whether it could be a classification, summarization, themes, word cloud, whatnot, all can be done through the API. How easy it is, right? It's a ridiculously easy. It's a REST. These are all REST APIs, like a function. Once you install the OpenAI and you get the keys getting connected, all of them can be done very quickly. I'll show one other example. You can also do the code. That's the beauty about the this particular OpenAI. I try to use the codex. If you can go the DaVinci and Crashman, I use here. I'm going to ask the question. Okay, write a button code in Python. Ask the question. The code can also be written. Oops, am I not in the right place? Oh, I'm in the classification. So I use that one, right? Or I can do the chatbot also. I can do that one. Write a button code in Python. I can use it for both chat GPT also. So look at that one. So this can be, the code can be written in Python. Again, the parameters are all different. If you look at that one, the parameters are different. I can try the same thing in ChatGPT. The same question can be asked, where I can ask this question and then it's going to give that the results in code. Okay, I can copy paste the code. It's pretty cool, right? So they're all things, right? It's evolving constantly. It's getting trained, these models, and what we see today, a month from now, this is gonna keep growing, and it's amazing platform for both natural language query and also for development platform. This can be used for both. Once you develop that one, how you can take it to the production. Again, I mentioned in my blog, we need to get approval. It's very similar to Play Store or App Store, making sure there's no profanity and we're having a content filter properly, it is there, and we're not going to make some crazy number of calls. In a second, we're not going to hit 10,000 API calls, making sure that when the load balancing is there. So all of them is going to be verified and tested, and we have to give the prototype to OpenAI, and they'll try to quickly review and approve it, and then we can take it to the production. Otherwise, right, it may get revoked. So just watch out, making sure that one, right, we follow the process. I already mentioned some of the links in my blog where you can go and look it up. Right, what is the process, right, to get into the to take it to the production. I pretty much covered everything what I want to say. So this is pretty cool how we can integrate any open AI GPT-3 REST APIs into our application product. So this is very powerful. I hope it helps you. Thank you so much.